Welcome back to CAN, Caribbean Affiliate News. My name is Siobhan Gobin. The segment of the news is sponsored by Emeralds Travel. In the wake of criticisms about its fare structure in the Guyana market, regional carrier Caribbean Airlines has been trying to explain why those high fares were introduced. Head of Corporate Communications at Caribbean Airlines, Clint Williams, explained that while high fares exist, the majority of fares would not be at the high prices that have been quoted in the media. Mr. Williams, who arrived in Georgetown on Wednesday for a number of meetings, said what we saw for summer was that people booked very early and a lot of the lower fare ranges were picked up very early. He said every flight would have different fare ranges and the lower fares would be brought up first leaving last-minute travelers to face the higher fares. Over the past 2 months, scores of Guyanese travelers in Guyana and the United States have complained about some of the high fares being offered by Caribbean Airlines. The government of Guyana also became worried about the high fares and called in top executives of the airline to meet with the president, other government officials, and members of the private sector. At that meeting, the airline executive said the fare structures for the Guyana market would be re-examined. On Thursday, during an interview with News Source, the Caribbean Airlines communications official said the airline is worried about the high fares too, especially since it affects many of their regular travelers who may be making late bookings. Mr. Williams said Caribbean Airlines has stuck to the Guyana market and has been introducing new services. He added that the airline is cognizant of the fact that its relationship with Guyana has not been smooth sailing, but the carrier has remained and has been looking at ways to make its service more sustainable, and that sustainability goes beyond higher prices. Williams explained that the regional airline is looking at ways to tackle its deficiencies in an effort to improve its service to Guyana. A few months back, the government of Guyana granted the country's flag carrier status to the airline for both the New York and Toronto routes. Caribbean Airlines admits that it has not taken full advantage of the flag carrier status, and Guyana has also not done the same. He said the matter regarding the flag carrier status and its benefits were discussed during the meeting with the Guyana government. The airline has noted that there are a number of challenges that hang over the Guyana market, which includes landing fees and taxes, as well as the worrying efforts by drug pushers to use the airline for their drug trade. The corporate communications head said those challenges are being addressed as the carrier looks to offer Guyana a much better service since it sees the local market as of the most critical and rewarding. Caribbean Airlines is the longest serving airline in the Guyana market. In Trinidad and Tobago, one strike and you're out. Those intent on recommitting violent criminal and drug-related offenses will not be eligible for bail. This was the recommendation the government put forward to opposition members at yesterday's crime talks at the International Waterfront Center in Port of Spain. Those who attended were opposition whip Marlene McDonald, PNM Vice Chairman Camille Robinson-Regis, and opposition senators Fitzgerald Hines and Terence Dialsing. Speaking on behalf of the government, Attorney General Anand Ramlogan said 3 topics were discussed, including the Bail Amendment Bill of 2013. Mr. Ramlogan said the use of the lie detector and drug testing in the police service were also discussed, and these matters which must not be left up only to the discretion of the police service. And I quote, "This is a matter which perhaps we could consider as a legislative measure in the Parliament," he said. Whether or not the Commissioner should have some measure of discretion to select officers, and together with that you have a system of random selection done on a lottery basis or some method so there would be some random element in it. He added that he felt very strongly about this measure because officers who use illegal drugs were more prone to commit crime and be in league with criminal elements. The lie detector test is important because to accept one bad apple could spoil the whole bunch and compromise the integrity and strength of our entire police operation or raid, so we are looking at things in a very practical manner, says Ramlogan. The 4th meeting of Ministers of Foreign Affairs of the Caribbean Community in Cuba will take place in Grenada today. The one-day meeting will be held on Calivigny Island, and the ministers are expected to review the relations and technical cooperation between CARICOM and Cuba in a range of areas, including trade, health, culture, education, and natural disasters. They will also discuss future cooperation on regional and international matters of common concern. Both sides are expected to discuss and exchange views on the issue of non-communicable diseases and the challenge they pose to the welfare of the people of the Caribbean, the post-2015 Sustainable Development Agenda, challenges posed by disabilities, climate change and natural disasters, and cooperation within the wider region through participation in the community of Latin American and Caribbean states. This was launched in Venezuela in 2011 and offers an avenue for widening the integration and political coordination effort to include Latin America. The CARICOM-Cuba Foreign Ministers meeting was instituted to assess relations between the two and increase cooperation efforts within the context of advancing the region's integrative efforts. The first three meetings were held in Havana in 2004, St. Vincent in 2007, and back again in Havana in 2010. St. Lucia's Prime Minister Dr. Kenny Anthony has officially assumed the rotating chairmanship of the Monetary Council of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. Anthony assumed the post in a ceremony Wednesday at the Sandals Grande St. Lucian Resort. He succeeds St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister Dr. Denzel Douglas in the role, which rotates alphabetically among the 8 ECCB member states. The Council is the highest decision-making authority of the ECCB. It is made up of the 8 finance ministers of the ECCB member governments. Following the ceremony, Anthony presented a new communique from the Council. The ECCB member states include Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Grenada, Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You're watching Caribbean Affiliate News. We will be right back.
5 million customers use Lyca Mobile for affordable international mobile calls, connecting over 2.5 million mobile calls daily, helping our customers stay in touch with their loved ones, whether they be in Asia, Africa, Europe, or the rest of the world. Every 5 seconds, a new Lyca Mobile customer joins our growing family, helping you to make affordable international calls across the world. Lyca Mobile. Call the world for less.